Hi everyone, welcome to Ryan and Rodrigo. Today we're starting a new series called Grammar Talk. And last week on our other show, we had my sister Marley on, and she talked a lot about what she's doing during quarantine, the classes that she's taking on Zoom, and these sorts of sentences. Our students had some questions about them because they both use the present continuous. And so we decided to do some videos to help explain that to people, because we know that a lot of the time the grammar can be confusing and difficult and frustrating. And so we decided to help out and to make some videos to help people understand the grammar and make it a lot simpler and easy, because grammar doesn't have to be frustrating. It can be a lot easier for you. And so today we're going to talk about the present continuous. And Rodrigo, can you start us off by giving a short explanation of that?
Sure, of course. So when Marley explained her situation right now for quarantine, she said that at this moment she is having a lot of online classes, right? Because she can't go to college, she can't go to the building where she studies. So she said, "I'm having a lot of online classes. I am studying uh, much more now because I I can focus. I I can use the time as I wish." And so those were some sentences that she used, some phrases, some expressions that she used. I am studying online. I am having classes. And some of our students, they they asked me and you about those sentences and about that structure. Okay, that structure specifically is a present continuous structure. It's very simple and it's very similar, if not equal, to Portuguese. Okay, it's very similar to Portuguese. I would say that it's the same. The structure, the format is exactly the same, which is a subject. And just to remember, a subject can be a name, it can be an object, it can be a noun, it can be a pronoun. Okay? So, for example, a subject, Ryan, or a subject, I. And then the verb to be, Ryan, the subject, the verb to be is, the verb to be that we know so well. Okay? So subject Ryan, the verb to be is, and then another verb and the ing. Ryan is talking. Okay, Ryan is speaking. Ryan is eating. Ryan is writing. I am teaching. I am studying. I am talking to Ryan. Okay, everything that is happening right now, that is happening at the moment. So the present continuous has that aspect of something that is happening in the moment. Okay. Uh, so, for example, at night, if I get a call from a student to talk about anything, Rodrigo, I need a fix. I'm sorry, I am eating dinner. I can't talk to you because I am eating dinner. Okay. Or, for example, you ask me about my wife. Rodrigo, how is Mari? She is nice, but at the moment, she is driving to her work. She is going to her job, okay? Or, to be more realistic, she is taking a Uber for her job, okay? I'm sorry. So it's very simple, very simple. It's just, I am eating. Ryan is walking. Okay. You are talking to me. We are having a class. Okay. They are leaving their homes. Okay. So simple as it can be, and very similar to Portuguese. Now, There is a problem though when some students sometimes they ask about the difference, and not only do they ask, but sometimes they make that mistake. They make that confusion. They confuse the present continuous with the present simple. Okay, so for example, in Portuguese, instead of saying in English we would say I work at Honda. I work at Honda. In Portuguese, it's very normal for us to say I am working at Honda. Okay? In Portuguese, we say that a lot. Eu estou trabalhando na Honda, to mean something that is true, something that is a fact. Okay. So Ryan, do you have anything to say about this difference between the present continuous and the present simple?
Sure. So in English, it is much more clear, the difference. I know that in Portuguese, sometimes you can use either. You can use the present simple or the present continuous to describe something like you just said, like you talked about working at Honda. But in English, you cannot mix these two things. They are very different ideas. And so, as you were saying, things that are happening right now and not every day, things that happen right now are for the present continuous. But things that happen every day, things that are habits, things that are facts, these things are for the present simple. So if we take your earlier example of I am eating dinner, well, I am eating dinner now. That's when you use I am eating dinner. But if you want to tell someone that I eat dinner at 8 p.m., I eat dinner at 8 p.m. every night. It's when I usually eat dinner because I finish work at 6 p.m., then I drive home, then I take a shower, then I cook, then I eat. These things happen every day. And so they need to be said in the present simple. But things in the present continuous are things that are happening at the moment. And
Okay.
so this is the difference.
So Ryan, there's another situation. Things when we say things that are happening at the moment, can it can these things be happening at a longer period? For example, not exactly at this minute, at this moment, like right now I'm talking to you, but for example, can I say that, like Marley said that in quarantine I am studying harder. I am focusing more. Um, so these are temporary situations. These are situations that are not habitual, that don't happen every day. Okay, but they are happening at the moment in your life, right? At a
Exactly.
longer period of time.
So if we talk about my sister, Marley, Marley lives all the way in the United States. In fact, she lives on the other side of the United States. So at this moment, right now, she is sleeping, I'm sure, because she's a teenager and teenagers do not wake up early. So she is sleeping right now. But also, she is studying harder. She is taking a course. She is working at an insurance company. She is doing all of these things, but temporarily, because she doesn't want to work at the insurance company forever. It's a very temporary thing because she is studying psychology and she has no intention of working at the insurance company for the rest of her life. It's very
And the
temporary.
quarantine will be over soon, right?
Quarantine will be over soon, we hope. So she's studying online temporarily. And and so all of these things are not a habit or things that happen every day forever is a very temporary idea for her.
Okay.
Or another example could be if you are training for a marathon, or if you are working out more to
Now,
prepare
during
for something.
quarantine, for
Yeah.
example, during quarantine, I am exercising much more than I used to. Okay, so I am creating the habit, or I am trying to create the habit of exercise, of being healthy, right? Okay, and this is it's. I hope it's not temporary, but it's something that is happening at the moment, right? At this moment of my life. Uh, so it is a temporary situation, after all. Okay.
Hmm.
Um,
And I am cooking a lot more because we're all home now 24 hours a day. We never go out. So I am cooking every meal of every day. I am cooking a lot more.
okay.
Yeah.
And so far we mentioned that the present continuous is a very simple verb tense, okay, that is very similar to Portuguese, that is used to describe, to talk about things that are happening right now at this moment. And you told us, everybody, about the difference in use between the present continuous and the present simple, right? One is
Hmm.
used for things that are happening at the moment, and the present simple is used for habits, for things that happen every day or at a certain frequency, right? I'm eating right now. This is the time I usually eat. So right now I am eating, but every day I eat at 8 p.m. Uh, and temporary situations in our lives, right? Marley is studying harder. Marley is working at the company, at the insurance company. Okay. Now there's another form or another usage, or some there's a new app that everybody is using
Well,
at the
all the
moment.
kids, us old
uh,
people don't
yeah.
use it.
No, especially old um, old-fashioned people, right? But all the kids and all the adults, all the influencers are
Yes.
using this app, right? Which is TikTok,
Yes. TikTok is
which
becoming more popular, much more popular.
much more popular.
It's crazy.
Uh, People are having their videos on TikTok, uh, like if like how can I say? People are posting videos all the time, right now, and so can we use the present continuous for? I say this is similar to a temporary situation, right? But it's more like a trend. It's more like something that is fashionable, something that is being used by everybody at this moment, right? And maybe
Yeah.
it will go away.
So that's a good word for it, is a trend. Um, it's a use when something is changing in life or in society. Then we can also use the present continuous. And so, like this example, TikTok is becoming more popular. You can also say that these days people are having fewer children. Like in the past, it was normal. It was just what everyone did. That people had 2, 3, 4 children. This was normal. And today, people have one child or
I
maybe
know,
two.
Ryan.
And so
People
today, people are having fewer children.
people are posting and spending their time posting on TikTok so much that they are having fewer children, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Uh, so in something something that is a trend, not it's not so nice, okay, but I paid attention to this. Now for quarantine, some companies they are cutting their employees' hours.
Yes.
right? This is something bad that started to happen. So my students, a lot of my students are working less, and because of that, they are being paid less money too, right? Students, friends, everybody. So my students are working less. My father is working less, um, um, and they are getting, as I said, they are getting less money. And this is also a trend, right? This is something that's happening at this moment, um, because, well, because of this horrible situation that we've been going through, right?
Yeah,
All right. So
for sure.
this is it's not something. It's not an example I would like to be using at the moment, but it is true. Okay. A lot of people will identify with that.
Mhm.
Now,
Now, hold on for a second, because so far, all of the examples that we've given are very similar in Portuguese, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And before we move on to some things that are a little bit different, I just want to give some examples of using the present continuous in the negative to say something like, "I am not." Remember to use not. Like for example, right now, I am not playing outside. I am not playing basketball. Or people are not going to the park these days with
Okay.
quarantine. Remember
Yeah.
to use
The
not.
present continuous, the negative form of the present continuous, is also very simple, very similar to Portuguese, right? And
Yeah,
it's just you. All you got to do is remember the verb to be, the negative form of the verb to be. The
right.
verb to be, as we know, it's I am not, you are not, he is not, she is not, or I am not, you aren't, he isn't, she isn't. The present continuous is formed with the verb to be. So because of that, to use the present continuous in a negative way, you just use the verb to be in a negative way, right? I
Exactly.
am not, as you said, people are not going out. People are not going to the park. People are not exercising outside. People are not playing soccer with friends. Okay, so
Hmm.
this is this is true, but it's very important to remember the negative form of the present continuous. Okay,
Yeah,
and the same goes for questions, right?
exactly. I remember that in the past you were on a very restrictive diet, and you didn't eat bread. But today, are you eating bread? Are you eating bread these days?
Yes, yes. Now my diet, because my diet is not restricted, so restrictive anymore. It's like a flexible diet. These days, I am eating bread. Okay, to be honest, in quarantine, I'm eating a lot of bread. I am making bread. Okay,
Really,
I am
you are
making
making
cake.
bread.
Yes, I am making bread,
That's
or I
cool.
am baking. Okay, a lot of cakes, a lot of bread. I am cooking a lot more than usual, than the usual, just like you. So I am making all types of food. Okay, uh, I am making mac and cheese. I am making bread. I am making meatloaf. uh, I am eating all that. Okay, that is the biggest problem. I am making, and not only am I making, but I am eating all that. Okay, and because of that, I am putting on some weight again. I am gaining weight again. So I need to be careful. Okay. Uh,
Nice,
now,
nice.
now, Ryan, you said that before we move on to something different, what do you mean by that? What different thing?
Well, I think the first thing that's a little bit different between how we use the present continuous in Portuguese and how we use the present continuous in English is that there are a few verbs that it's just not possible to use in the present continuous. And when you were explaining before, when you at the very beginning of the video, you said it very nice. You said that you can use a subject like I or Ryan or my mother, and the verb to be, and an action verb. And that's great because an action verb is like eating or walking or driving, things that you do. But there are other types of verbs, and we call them stative verbs. And you don't need to understand it so much, but you do need to know that stative verbs are things that you cannot repeat, things that you just are. So, for example, know, the verb to know. Once you know something, you cannot know it again. You just know it. And so you cannot use the verb to be, the verb know in the present continuous. It's just not possible.
So I cannot say I am knowing.
No.
Not in English. Okay.
It's not possible. I'm sorry. No. And some other verbs that are like this would be like understand. And it's the same reason.
Now that you're explaining to me, you are explaining this to me, I can't say I am understanding what you're saying?
Well, no.
No? So because I can't repeat that, right?
Exactly.
Either I understand or I don't understand, right? In English, those verbs, they are called stative verbs because they are states. They are not actions, right? You don't repeat a state. A state, you are that way, okay? Okay, I think I got it. So I cannot.
Another good example is the verb love. Okay. Now I love my wife, but it's not possible to love her again. Either I love her or I don't, and I do. I love her, but it's not possible to say that I am loving her because
it's not something temporary, right?
Exactly. It's just something that exists. I love her.
Okay, I understand. There's a okay. Are there any other verbs, any important verbs? Like, for example, the verb to want. It's not.
It's the same idea.
Okay, you want or you don't want, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
is the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, you like or you don't like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a state. It's something that is. Okay, it can't be happening repeated times. Okay, I understand. All right. And Ryan, do you remember any other usages for the present continuous?
Yes, there is another use for the present continuous that is different than Portuguese, and a little different anyways. And it is for future things. And in English, if something in the future is very certain, especially if it has a specific day and a specific time, and you know that this thing is happening, you can say it in the present continuous. And so you can say that on Saturday, I am shopping because okay. I've already made plans with a friend, and we are meeting at the mall, and we are buying clothes, and we are eating lunch. We are shopping on Saturday. It's very certain that we are doing this. You can say that.
Okay, and this is common in English, right?
Oh, very
common in English.
Yeah.
All right. In Portuguese, we do have that. We say that sometimes, but it's not so common. In Portuguese, it's for something very, very immediate, very, very certain. Okay, so for example, tomorrow I have a trip to Argentina. Okay, a scheduled trip to Argentina, and I say I am going to Argentina tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But what if your trip to Argentina is in December, is at the end of the year. Would you say
Then
that?
no, then no, not no. It's only if it's happening today, later today, or tomorrow, for example. Something for very immediate, something. But the structure and the idea is similar. Okay,
Okay.
it's just that in Portuguese it's not so common. But in English is different, right? In English, you can say, for example, Ryan is traveling to America in December.
Yes.
You have bought your tickets. You have your tickets with you. You know the day. You already told your students that you're going. You already told your parents that you're going to receive you. So it's something very certain. Okay, it might not happen for I don't know any reason, but
Like if there is a outbreak of a crazy virus, then yeah, it
yeah,
might not happen.
exactly.
But I have made many arrangements. I've bought tickets, checked out a hotel, told my parents, told my students. It's very certain that I am going.
All right. And also, Ryan, something that my students confuse a lot is the because of the ing, okay, and because in English there are other usages for the ing form, okay, for the gerund. The this present continuous form that we're talking about is a verb tense, right? It's to describe a verb, an action situation, right? So, for example, I am doing something right now, okay? But there are also ways to use the ing as qualities, right? And that can confuse some people. So, for example, uh, Ryan is interesting, or the movie is exciting, okay, or my boss is boring, okay. So and the structure is exactly the same. Subject, so a person, for example my boss, the verb to be, and a word, not a verb, a word with ing, right? So what can we say about this? uh,
Well, here we need to be careful because in English, like you said, qualities or adjectives. Adjectives are the words that we use. Look very similar to gerunds, to verbs with ing. And so we just need to be careful when we read, when we hear people speak, um, and make sure that we understand what they are saying, because it can sound very similar when someone says the movie is exciting, and someone says I am driving. They both have an ing, and the best thing that you can do is to pay attention and to understand from the situation. Oh, is the person doing something? Is there an action in the situation, or is the sentence describing something? Is the sentence giving more information about a person or a place or a thing? And if it's describing a an activity, if it's describing an action, then it's the present continuous. And if it's describing a quality, then it's an adjective. Okay?
Okay, I understand. So I think we can talk a little about adjectives, right? I think it's important to explain the difference between the present continuous, and as you just did, and adjectives, and also the difference between adjectives, right? To
Sure.
explain a little about to people about adjectives, right?
But I think we can do that. We can describe adjectives in our next video. Adjectives
Okay.
are important, and they are very similar in structure, at least, to the present continuous. Both of them have ing. And so in our next video, we will describe adjectives and help people understand the differences there to make that more clear. And so until then, until next time, uh, see you guys later. Thank you for watching. And be sure to like us, subscribe us, and check us out everywhere else, including Instagram. And
Okay.
so see you guys later. Have a great day.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.